All right, before we even start, regardless of where you stand with the new Pixel 11 Pro, can we all agree that this new Canyon colorway that they came out with, this is one of the best colors that Google has ever done. It is absolutely stunning. Hey, it's Jason. So last week, Google officially debuted the new Pixel 11, the 11 Pro, and the 11 Pro Fold, the latest iteration of the company's flagship smartphones. And I think the general initial reaction to this launch has been mixed, with some fans eager to try out some of the new features that Google is introducing with these phones, while many others were left underwhelmed and some just downright disappointed. And this is especially true for the Pixel 11 Pro, probably the most anticipated and popular variant in the Pixel 11 lineup that a lot of people were looking forward to. And look, there's a variety of different reasons why you may feel one way or the other with this device, but until you actually get some hands-on time with the phone itself, I say all bets are off. Luckily, I was able to get access to an early review unit of the Pixel 11 Pro, and I've been using it over the past week now, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do a review on how it's been, going over the pros and cons with this new device, all in an effort to help you decide if the new Pixel 11 Pro is the right phone for you. And this is probably my last reminder. I'm giving away a brand new pair of Pixel Buds to commemorate over 5,000 subscribers to the JSL newsletter. If you guys want in on that, all you have to do is make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you're subscribed to the newsletter. The link to subscribe to the newsletter will be in the description down below. The winner will be announced at the end of August via the newsletter. It's open to everyone. Thank you for all of you who have been supporting me there. Okay, first, let's talk about physical design, and you might be thinking there's really not a lot to talk about here, as the Pixel 11 Pro has an uncanny resemblance to last year's Pixel 10 Pro, but there are some subtle differences. But let's start with what's the same. The dimensions on both the 11 Pro and the 11 Pro XL have not changed, with the regular Pro giving users a 6.3-inch display, while the Pro XL is slightly larger at 6.8 inches. The screens are brighter, however, as they can now reach a searing 3600 nits of peak brightness, which is pretty important if you regularly use your phone outdoors. The build materials are also the same, so you still get that glass-on-glass design connected together with Google's spacecraft-grade aluminum on the frame. The glass on the front and back is using Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is pretty scratch resistant, and the Pixel 11 Pro does still retain a strong IP68 dust and water resistance rating. Now, you still get access to Pixel Snap, which is Google's version of MagSafe, great if you have a ton of MagSafe accessories like me. They do have some new colors this year. This is their new Canyon colorway that I think looks amazing. The pairing with this rose gold finish on the frame is just incredible, and I'm happy to say Google did really well with the execution here. It wasn't long ago when the Pixel was not near the level of flagship phones of their time, but modern day iterations definitely clear that bar, and the Pixel 11 Pro feels as though it's the company's most refined Pixel to date, despite it being very familiar. Now, the easiest way to differentiate the 11 Pro from the others is with the signature camera bar. It no longer has any metal on the housing and now has edge-to-edge glass, giving it a cleaner look. This also means that Google sunset what could possibly go down as the most unuseful smartphone feature of all time, the temperature sensor that used to be there, and replacing it is a new multicolor LED notification indicator that's called Highlight. Now, Highlight is engaged when you have your phone facing down and you either get a call from someone identified as a favorite or if you're engaging with Gemini. Now, a few things about this feature. Number one, it truly only activates when the phone is facing down. I think a lot of people think that it's engaged while normally using the Pixel 11 Pro, but it does not, so keep that in mind. Number two, I do think that this is a better feature than the temperature sensor, but it's weird how Google limited it to just these two actions. It would have been great to be able to map Highlight to a bunch of other notifications that are important to you personally, something that I do hope comes in a future software update, as that would make it a lot more appealing. Overall, even though the physical design changes are minimal with the Pixel 11 Pro from previous iterations, this is still no doubt a beautifully put together premium device, which is still quite meaningful coming from Google. But let's transition to what's new on the inside and talk about performance as a whole for the Pixel 11 Pro, and brace yourself. Google made some interesting decisions this year. Let's start off with probably the biggest upgrade on paper, and that's the new Tensor G6 chip that's in this device. This is the 6th iteration of Google's homegrown mobile processor, and though it does have a reputation of being inconsistent when it comes to performance, Google focused heavily on power efficiency and thermal management with the G6, and during my short 1 week of testing, the performance has been great. Everything feels noticeably snappier and crisp, ranging from the in-display fingerprint reader to the smooth 120Hz variable refresh rate on the screen. fine, apps load up faster, and I haven't had any issues with the phone heating up even when doing more spec-intensive activity on the device. Battery performance has also been very good. Despite this having a slightly smaller battery than last year's Pixel 10 Pro, you're still able to get through a full day without any issues so long as you start the day on a full charge, and you do get slightly faster charging, which is nice to see. Now, all of this comes with a rather large grain of salt. I've been burned by Tensor before, where everything is fine at first, and then it starts to unravel after a few software updates. To be clear, that hasn't happened in a while. The past 2 generations of Tensor have been quite stable, but I think it's fair to say that more longer-term testing will be needed on the G6 before making any overarching conclusions. Now, probably the biggest change that is causing the most heartburn for a lot of folks is the fact that the Pixel 11 Pro's base model only comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Now, if you do upgrade to the larger storage options, it does come with 16, but if you're keeping score, the Pixel 10 Pro and even the 9 Pro came standard with 16 gigabytes of RAM, regardless of the storage configuration. So understandably, this feels like a pretty clear step backwards, especially when you pair in the fact that Google has also increased the prices for their phones. Now, this is also reflective of the Ramageddon that we're all in due to AI ruining everything. And even though I'd argue that for the vast majority of people out there, 12 gigabytes of RAM is plenty, it's still a bitter pill to swallow in my opinion. But let's talk about the cameras on the Pixel 11 Pro, as Google again made some interesting changes. Now, on the one hand, when looking at the hardware, it's very much the same as before, as you still get a triple camera setup on the back anchored by a 50 megapixel wide angle sensor and an ultra wide and a 5x telephoto zoom, both coming in at 48 megapixels. You also get the impressive 42 megapixel selfie camera up front, and even though there's nothing new here, during my testing, I did notice some general improvements in image quality. You still get the signature pixel color science that still hits today, as the photos coming out of the Pixel 11 Pro are visually beautiful to look at. They made some big improvements in portrait shots, as the edge detection is noticeably better and not as artificial, which I'm glad that they finally addressed. You also get some new advanced controls with the camera app, such as the new camera looks feature that allows you to get a bit more of a dialed in stylized look baked into the camera to help you get the aesthetic that you're going for. And generally speaking, the camera app itself is a lot simpler and more responsive, especially with shutter lag, and it's a noticeable improvement even from just last year. Now, Google has also added some new AI-based camera features, most notably something called Magic Capture. You basically have the Pixel 11 Pro take a video of a particular moment in time, and then it will use AI to capture a few stills that it feels looks the best. It actually does work pretty well, but not sure how often this thing will be used on a regular basis. When it comes to video, the Pixel 11 Pro can shoot okay 4K video that unfortunately hasn't seen any major gains in terms of quality since the previous generations, but again, to likely help mask the lack of a difference, Google has introduced something called Creator Suite. This gives you access to creator-specific video tools like a social media grid to help you with framing, or the audio enhancement feature that helps you isolate your voice in a noisy environment, and even a new teleprompter to help creators make videos that requires a script. Now, as nice as the Creator Suite is to a person like myself who actually makes content, again, I'm really not sure how often it'll be used by the average Joe, and personally, I would have liked to have seen more basic improvements to video quality instead. So all to say, is the Pixel 11 Pro an iterative update? Yes, no doubt about it, but it's not as minuscule as it seems. I do think that this would be an excellent upgrade for anyone holding a Pixel 8 or older, as it does provide for the here and now the best Pixel experience to date, and the improvements with the processor and camera performance are low-key more noticeable than they let on. Now, would I upgrade if I'm on the Pixel 9 or 10 Pro? No, those devices are still perfectly fine, and I feel as though many of the new features introduced on the 11 Pro will quickly trickle down to the older models. In many ways, reviewing the Pixel 11 Pro has made me think that the Pixel 10 Pro is still rock solid, especially with the extra RAM and the relatively stable performance of the Tensor G5. Now, we'll see if things change over time, as it's only been 1 week so far with this new device. Keep an eye out for more longer-term reviews, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is enough of an upgrade to warrant a thumbs up for the Pixel 11 Pro? Or is it too much of a rinse and repeat of what we already have? Curious to get your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Now, as I mentioned, I still think that the Pixel 10 Pro is a rock solid device going into 2027. If you guys didn't see my long-term review, definitely check it out here. You're not going to want to miss it.